Good evening. This is Akashvani. I am Saira Mujtaba with World News. The headlines. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says relations with Pakistan can only move ahead in an environment free of terror, hostility and violence. New Delhi reiterates its call for safe and unhindered navigation in international waters. Global crude oil prices fall on hopes of Strait of Hormuz breakthrough. And in Asian Youth and Junior Weightlifting Championships, Titli Maji clinches silver medal in women's 45 kg category. And now the news in detail. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today said that India's relations with Pakistan can only move ahead in an environment free of terror, hostility and violence. In a written reply in Lok Sabha, Dr. Jaishankar said that Pakistan continues to follow the policy of cross-border terrorism and using terrorism as an instrument of state policy against India. The minister said that India withdrew Most Favoured Nation or MFN status to Pakistan and hiked customs duty on all goods originating in or exported from Pakistan to 200% after the Pulwama terror attack. India took a number of diplomatic steps, including holding Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance, closing Atari checkpost, restricting visas, and downsizing diplomatic and official presence at the respective missions following the Pulwama terror attack. India has rejected the objections raised by a US lawmaker on the proposed Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill, saying that its legislative matters are its internal affairs, in which the decisions are taken by the Parliament. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal said this during media briefing in New Delhi while replying to a question in this regard. Mr. Jaiswal pointed out that there are several nations, including US, which regulate the flow of foreign funds.
We have seen the comments. Legislative matters concerning India are our internal affairs on which decisions are taken by the Parliament of our country. I would also like to point out that there are several nations, including the United States, which regulate the flow of foreign funds.
On safety and security of Indian vessels and seafarers, Mr. Jaiswal said that New Delhi attaches high priority to the issue. He said Indian missions all across the Gulf region are in constant contact with the Ministry of Shipping and Maritime authorities in those countries. He said India continues to call for safe and unimpeded navigation and free flow of commerce through international waterways. New Delhi has also called upon all parties to refrain from targeting civilian infrastructure and civilian vessels and seafarers. Replying to a question on the press conference of former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, Mr. Jaiswal reiterated that India had no role to play in that.
I have already stated government's position on the issue before the press conference happened. You would have seen those remarks. You were present here. I am reiterating it here. Government had no role to play in what was an event by a private media entity, and government does not endorse anything said at the forum, especially with regard to the duly constituted government of Bangladesh.
Replying to the defense pact between Pakistan, Turkey and Saudi Arabia, the spokesperson said the development is being closely followed. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Turkey have signed a trilateral defense pact under which an attack on any one of the three countries will be treated as an attack against all. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan signed the joint defense agreement during a meeting in Mecca. Leading international press freedom group has called on Pakistani authorities to withdraw Islamabad's new Foreign Media Facilitation Guidelines 2026. The group has described the rules as draconian and warned that it will censor coverage of unrest in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir (POJK). It said Pakistani authorities have banned coverage of protests demanding electoral reform in POJK after international outlets reported on police brutality during clashes with peaceful demonstrators and suspended mobile and internet services. These latest guidelines come against the backdrop of escalating unrest in the illegally occupied territory that has claimed more than 50 lives and left hundreds injured over the last few days. This is Akashvani. You're listening to World News. We bring you the top international news and updates from around the globe. Welcome back. Global crude oil prices dropped today as investors weighed signals that Gulf states and Iran were closing in on a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz under a temporary arrangement. Brent crude was trading 0.8% down at $81.86 per barrel in intraday trade. West Texas Intermediate crude was trading 0.3% lower at $77.08 per barrel when reports last came in. The United States has imposed sanctions on 5 Cuban entities and 8 individuals accused of facilitating military procurement and foreign military cooperation for the Cuban government. Announcing the sanctions in a social media post, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, "The measures target individuals and organizations involved in procuring arms and supporting Cuba's military and security apparatus." Meanwhile, Cuba strongly condemned the sanctions, describing them as part of Washington's long-standing policy of hostility and pressure against Havana. Conservative leader Abelardo de la Espriella is set to take the oath as Colombia's president today in Cali, breaking with the long-standing tradition of holding the inauguration in the capital, Bogota. The 48-year-old will succeed Gustavo Petro after defeating the outgoing president's ally Ivan Cepeda in a closely contested runoff election held on 21st June this year. Among the dignitaries expected to attend the ceremony are King Felipe VI of Spain and several Latin American leaders. In Thailand, a 14-year-old student shot and killed 7 people in Nonthaburi province, northwest of Bangkok. According to the officials, the shooter killed 5 staff members at a high school before taking his own life. The shooter also killed his 2 grandparents at their home prior to the school attack. In Kenya's Amboseli National Park, 16 elephants have died from suspected cyanide poisoning after reportedly consuming tomatoes from nearby farms over the past month. The Kenya Wildlife Service said the elephant death toll in the Amboseli has risen to 16, up from the 15 deaths it had reported last month. Dr. Isaac Lekulul, head of veterinary services at the Kenya Wildlife Service, said initial findings indicate cyanide poisoning, although further lab analysis is underway to determine the concentration of the toxic substance. On to sports. Indian weightlifter Titli Maji clinched a silver in the women's 45 kg category, marking an impressive start for the country at the Asian Youth and Junior Weightlifting Championships in Tashkent, Uzbekistan today. She secured the medal with a total lift of 145 kilos, comprising 65 kilos in the snatch and 80 kilos in the clean and jerk. Parishmita Gogoi finished 4th in the same event. The competition will continue until 14th of August. In Korea Masters Badminton, Indian shuttlers Rakshita Ramraj and Ashmita Chaliha have entered the women's singles semi-finals at Assen. Rakshita defeated compatriot Tanvi Sharma in the quarter-final today. Ashmita stunned top seed Hina Kechi in the quarter-final. They will play an all-Indian semi-final tomorrow. At the World Athletics Under-20 Championships, India's Mohammad Ashfaq broke the Under-20 national record in Eugene, United States today. With this win, Ashfaq paved his way to qualify for the men's 400-meter semi-finals. 19-year-old Ashfaq clocked 45.81 seconds to finish second behind USA's Jaden Delian in the first round Heat 5 and 4th overall to make it to the semi-finals. And now, before we close, here are the highlights of the bulletin. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says, relations with Pakistan can only move ahead in an environment free of terror, hostility and violence. New Delhi reiterates its call for safe and unhindered navigation in international waters. Global crude oil prices fall on hopes of Strait of Hormuz breakthrough. And in Asian Youth and Junior Weightlifting Championships, Titli Maji clinches silver medal in women's 45 kg category. That concludes tonight's World News Bulletin. For more updates, stay tuned to Akashvani. Good night.